Listen here, class. Stop playing Roblox because I've got a very important lesson today. Yeah, that's right. We're talking about Area 51. But Mr. Stickman, aliens don't even exist. Oh, really? I beg to differ. Then why the secrecy? Why the pop culture? Why the 51st area?
Well, I guess you have a point.
Of course I've got a point. Now listen here. Today's historical lesson is about to get a little extra terrestrial. Horrible joke. I couldn't help myself. All right, let's set the scene. The year is 1955. The Cold War is in full swing. The United States and the Soviet Union are basically two kids on a playground staring each other down, except both kids have nuclear weapons and nobody's mom is coming to break it up.
That sounds terrifying.
It was. It really was. And the big problem for America was really quite simple. They had no idea what the Soviets were building. Missiles? Bases? A really big angry bear with a hat? Nobody knew. So what did they do? They did what any government would do when they need answers. They built a spy plane. A very, very high spy plane. So high that no missile could reach it. They called it the U-2, not the band. Although Bono does have a certain mysterious energy now that I think about it.
Did you just make a U2 joke in a history lesson?
Moving on. They needed somewhere secret to test this thing. Somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Somewhere so remote that if you accidentally flew a top secret aircraft over it, nobody would notice. So a CIA officer named Richard Bissell took one look at a dry lake bed in the Nevada desert and said, yeah, that's the one.
But Mr. Stickman, why was it called Area 51?
Great question. Extremely boring answer. It was just a grid reference number on an old government map. They didn't sit in a dark room going, ooh, what shall we name our secret base to make it sound maximum mysterious. It was just square number 51. That's it.
I feel cheated.
Stay with me. It gets better. So they build this base out in the middle of the Nevada desert. Runway on a dry lake bed. Some hangars. A cafeteria with what I can only assume was very mediocre government food. And they started testing the U-2. And it flies. High. Impossibly high. We're talking 70,000 feet. That's so high you can see the curvature of the earth. That's so high, the sky above you stops being blue and starts being this deep, dark violet, almost black color.
Okay, that actually sounds incredible.
Exactly. Test pilot Tony Levere said looking down from up there felt like being on the edge of space. And this is 1955. Nobody had been to space yet. This guy is up there in a tin can above the clouds going, huh? Wild.
So when did the aliens show up?
Patience. We're getting there. Here's where it gets juicy. The U-2 starts flying, and almost immediately civilian airline pilots start calling in UFO reports. Strange metallic craft, moving at impossible speeds, at altitudes that shouldn't exist. Gleaming in the sunlight at dusk, when the ground below is already dark. Hundreds of reports. The Air Force UFO Investigation Unit, Project Blue Book, is absolutely drowning in paperwork.
So it was the U-2 the whole time?
For most of them, yes. The plane was flying so high that regular people had no framework to understand what they were looking at. It was catching the last light of the setting sun while the ground below was already in darkness. It looked exactly like a glowing silver disc floating silently in the darkest sky.
That's actually kind of embarrassing for humanity.
Don't be too hard on us. The government knew what it was and refused to say anything because telling the public would mean revealing the U-2 program. So they just said nothing. And when you tell people nothing, their brains do not sit quietly. Their brains go absolutely feral.
Feral is a very strong word.
Have you met people? Anyway, so the theories grow, and the base gets more secretive. And then after the U-2 came something even more insane. The A-12. The predecessor to the SR-71 Blackbird, A plane so fast it could cross the entire continental United States in under 70 minutes. It flew at Mach 3. That means 3 times the speed of sound. That means by the time you heard it coming, it was already somewhere else entirely. That's not a plane, that's a rumor with wings. I'm writing that down. That's good. That's mine now. Okay. The friction from the air at those speeds heated the surface of the aircraft to over 500 degrees. They had to build it out of titanium because regular aluminum would just melt. And here's the part that sounds made up, but is completely true. They bought most of that titanium secretly from the Soviet Union, the country they were building the plane to spy on.
So you're telling me they bought the metal from the enemy?
I know.
To build the spy plane?
I know.
To spy on the enemy?
I know. The Cold War had absolutely no chill. Pun intended.
That was worse than the first one.
Now, the base is getting bigger. Thousands of people work there. But here's the thing. Nobody knows what anyone else is doing. The whole place is divided into compartments. You know your job, and you know nothing else. Workers signed secrecy agreements so airtight that many of them went to their graves without ever telling their families what they spent their careers on. Imagine sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner for 30 years, and when your kids ask you what you do for work, you just go, government stuff. Pass the potatoes. That would drive me insane. It drove a lot of them insane. Psychologists who studied people in long-term high-secrecy environments found the psychological cost was enormous. You are carrying something huge, and you can't put it down, and you can't share it. That is a heavy thing to carry. Okay, I'm invested now. When does the alien guy show up? 1989. Las Vegas. A man named Bob Lazar goes on local television and tells the world he worked at a secret facility near Area 51 called S4, and that he saw alien spacecraft, 9 of them to be exact. He described their propulsion systems. He described the materials. He described things that should not exist. The story went everywhere.
Did anyone actually believe him?
Half the world lost its mind. The other half said he was making it up. And the government responded in the most suspicious way possible. What did they do? They erased him. His employment records at the universities he claimed to attend disappeared. His security clearances could not be verified. It was as if he never existed. They erased him. Now, I'm not saying that proves anything, but I am saying that if you wanted to make someone sound more credible, making all their records vanish is not the move.
Mr. Stickman, what do you think actually happened?
Honestly, here's what the declassified documents show. The U.S. government was flying aircraft so far beyond anything the public knew existed that the gap between reality and public knowledge was enormous. Stealth technology, drone programs decades ahead of schedule, aircraft with radar signatures so small they were effectively invisible. When people saw these things, they did not have the words for them, so they used the words they had, and the words they had were flying saucer.
So the truth is just really good airplanes?
Really, really good airplanes. In 2013, the CIA officially admitted that Area 51 exists. First time in 60 years. They released documents confirming the U-2 and A-12 programs, the whole thing. And the world went, oh, huh, neat. And immediately went back to believing there are aliens in there.
Because the base is still active.
Exactly. They told us about the past. The present is still locked up tight. New buildings keep appearing on satellite images. The restricted airspace is stricter than ever. They opened one door, and behind it was another door with a bigger lock.
So we still don't actually know everything.
No, we do not. And that is exactly why the story refuses to die. Governments keep secrets because secrets are useful. But secrets have a gravity. They pull stories toward them. They generate myths. They make people look at a titanium airplane flying at the edge of space and think, that has to be something more. Well, maybe it is something more. Maybe it is. And that right there is the most honest thing I can tell you about Area 51. We know more than we used to. We know less than we want to. And somewhere out there in the Nevada desert, behind a gate with a no trespassing sign and guards who are very serious about their jobs, something is still happening that the rest of us are not supposed to know about. So, what do we do with that? The same thing humans have always done with a mystery. We keep asking questions. We keep looking up. And we keep watching the sky at dusk, just in case that glowing silver disc turns out to be something that nobody has a word for yet.
Mr. Stickman, that was actually kind of beautiful.
Don't get used to it. Same time next week, and close that laptop. You've been staring at it for 3 hours. Worth it. Yeah, it was.